Physics Club of the new academic year, and it's great to see so many of you in person here in SPL 57. I'm particularly pleased to see so many students and postdocs, and I hope that throughout the year all of you will actually come to the Future Physics Club. So I think it's important that we come together and reconnect, and this is in fact going to be the theme for this introductory physics club, and also for the year, reconnecting and rebuilding our department community. So today what I wanted to do was I wanted to say a few words about what my thoughts are and plans for the year, and then I have a few presentations lined up from student, postdoc, and staff leaders. They wanted to tell you about the programs they are planning and the activities they are planning with their groups. And this is all under the umbrella that at some level, this is your department. You can shape the activities and the community in this department, and we count on you to make this the community that we want to be in. So reconnecting and rebuilding our department community. That is the theme for the year. And this is a slide that I pulled together before the pandemic, and I hope that we will get back to this level of activity that we had more than 2.5 years ago, where we actually talk science in the hallways, we have outreach events, and this is the goal for the year. I was very pleased to see that over the summer, many in-person events came together and happened. And just as an example, I wanted to show here a slide from the summer research program that we held at Wright Lab. We had some 12 or 15 students working with researchers at the lab, going through 10 weeks of research, engaging in activities, having lunchtime events, and even going to see old rare books in the Beinecke Library. So it was really nice to see this come back to the in-person activities. And I hope we'll do more of it this year as we go forward. The first physics club of the year is always an opportunity for me to think about where do we want to go this year. And I started this 3 years ago when I started as chair in the department. It's a way for me to reflect. Where are we? What goals are we pursuing? And I wanted to share some of this with you today so that you have a sense of where the department is and where we are heading. I also wanted to mention that with the activities that we are now restarting, the in-person activities, we have tried to share more and more of it through social media. And hopefully you have seen some of it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I wanted to give a big shout out and thank you to Taylor, Daphne, Victoria, and others who have worked hard to promote this over the recent weeks and months. And I encourage you to send in your pictures, send in your stories. They would love to get them posted. And here are just a few highlights of recent postings of the Yale Physics Instagram for the last 3 months, and also from our Twitter account. We are now tracking the statistics, so we can see what gets picked up, and it's always interesting to see what actually resonates with the community outside Yale and in the social media world. Last year, I talked about building for the future. Last year, the last couple of years, actually, we had this online and on Zoom, and I talked about how Yale is investing in buildings and infrastructure that will benefit us, the physics department. You've all seen the construction fences around Sloan. They are not gone, they look different. And I can assure you, I hate them as much as you do. It is a pain, and I'm sorry for all the noise and disruptions that are happening. But there has been progress, and what may not be completely obvious from the outside is that we're getting closer to moving part of the physics department into the Klein Tower next door. So the renovations of the Klein Tower are progressing very well. The move of the Astrophysics group together with the astronomy department into the Klein Tower is planned for summer 2023. And I had a chance a couple of weeks ago to get a preview. And when you go up to the top floor of the Klein Tower, you actually have an amazing view of New Haven. So they do this very nicely when they give you a tour of Klein Tower. They first go up to the top floor, you get the amazing view, and then you walk down to where eventually physics, but I can assure you that essentially every level in the Klein Tower actually has a pretty decent view. So, but if you get a chance, start at the top. It's pretty exciting. Yeah. Just to give you a sense of that actually something is happening inside the Klein Tower. Here are a couple of pictures I took from the inside. So they're trying to connect the different levels of the KT Tower so that we can walk between the offices that physics and astronomy will occupy. And this is a view of one of these lounge areas that's going to be created in the Klein Tower. So again, as I said, I mean, if you go look through these dirty windows there, you actually get a really nice view into all directions. So that's, that's pretty nice. So this is coming fairly soon. Some of you may actually, will actually move into Klein Tower. But what will be nice is it will make us a little bit more compact. We will have Sloan, we will have astrophysics and astronomy next door in KT. And of course, then there will be an underground connection to Steep Cafe and to the rest of the courtyard here. So this is just to say there has been progress and the move is coming soon. We've also made significant progress on planning the next big building for physics and engineering. It's called the Physical Science and Engineering Building. It will be located between Wright Lab and the Bass Building. It will wrap around part of Wright Lab and replace Wright Lab West. At this point, there are only drawings, and but it's going to be the biggest building structure that Yale will build, and it will be for physical science, and it will impact what we can do, especially in quantum science and material science. So this will be coming in the next few years, and the blue construction fences will move from Sloan to Wright Lab. So at that point, the Sloan folks can look over to Wright Lab and tell them what to expect. But this building complex will really reshape how the north of Science Hill looks. So this is an artist rendering, an old one actually from Whitney. So you're now looking at what is currently the parking lot, Peabody's to the left, Bass is straight ahead, Wright Lab to the right. And with the new building complex, this entire area will be reshaped. So it will be an exciting project once it's done. And it will locate and relocate the center of gravity for physics and physical sciences really up Science Hill. Enough for buildings. I wanted to really focus on our department community here. And so I wanted to first introduce the newest members of our department. And I wanted to welcome Murat Kologlu, the 2022 Mossman Fellow. He got his PhD from Caltech, was at the University of Oxford, and is now working with Professor Ian Moult and David Poland. Welcome, and if you see him around, please welcome him to our department. I also wanted to give a shout out to our new staff. And we have two new people in the chair's office, Kirsten Fransman and Stacy Bonnet, and they will help me stay on track and keep the department organized. Come by, say hello, and I'm very glad that they have joined our team. And a special welcome to our newest class of graduate students, the 2022 incoming graduate class. They arrived on campus, have started classes. Some of you have done research over the summer, and it's really great to see you in person. And I'm so glad that you can start your studies in person and not over Zoom this year. And it was great to see you at the orientation a couple of weeks ago. Just a couple of updates on our support for the graduate program and the undergraduate program. Professor Daisuke Nagai is now our Director of Graduate Studies. Sarah Demers is Director of Undergraduate Studies. And of course, they are supported by our excellent team, Stacy Watts, the Graduate Registrar, Rona as the Graduate Program Coordinator, and Daphne Clem as our Undergraduate Registrar. So if you have any questions about the undergraduate or graduate program, they are your first point of contacts. And they're doing excellent work to just keep it running and do it even better this year. For those of you who are new, I just wanted to briefly mention a couple of stats about the graduate program. As you may know, we have 35 primary faculty, ladder faculty in the department. We have a sizable number of people from other departments who have secondary appointments. So that gives you a broad range of research activities to choose from. And our total graduate program currently counts around 135 students. If you haven't seen it yet, we do have a web page of recent alumni. So if you're interested on what students are doing after they graduate here, check it out. Daphne keeps it up to date. And it's always exciting and interesting to see what everyone is doing. And if you have additions or if you graduate, then you will be added to our list of illustrious alumni. The work of the department and your research, of course, forms one of the core elements of what we do. We have a very broad research portfolio with work in astrophysics, cosmology, nuclear physics, particle physics, quantum science, and so on. I wanted to just highlight and mention again for those of you who are new, that Yale University has developed a science strategy placing special emphasis on campus on quantum science, data science, and instrumentation. And obviously the work in the physics department connects very closely to all of this. Other priorities are diversity, equity, inclusion. We want to build a more inclusive campus community. And we also want to look beyond the campus, meaning making more connections to other institutions and especially national labs like Brookhaven National Lab. To strengthen all of this, I'm happy to say that we have 5 faculty searches this year. If the faculty might be preoccupied, might be because we have to run 5 searches. It's a great opportunity for the department. We have 3 new searches in astrophysics and cosmology, biological physics, and nuclear physics, and 2 continuing searches in quantum science and AMO physics. So what I would say to all of you is come to the talk. This is a great opportunity to hear some exciting science and provide feedback. The search committees will reach out to all of you, students, postdocs, faculty. If you have impressions, please do share them with us. And then now that we are essentially back on campus, essentially all activities are being planned in person with just a Zoom hybrid component. We want to continue planning for the future. We will do a strategic planning exercise, looking at where the department goes, where do we want to hire, what do we aspire to be, and how do we envision Yale physics 5 to 10 years from now. So I will engage all of you in it. We had a retreat with the faculty a few weeks ago where we started some of this conversation. There will be more discussions to come. And again, I would encourage all of you to engage, reach out, and provide your input. This is your department. You can help shape it. and help us become a better, more impactful physics department. I wanted to also emphasize again something that's at the core of building our community. And these are the values, the principles that and the norms that shape our community. And the department developed a statement of principles. This was work that was led by our Climate and Diversity Committee and supported by some town halls a few years ago. And those principles are respect, well-being, integrity, and community. We take these principles seriously. I introduce them every time I welcome the new incoming graduate class. Every person we hire, we talk to them about these principles. And they are really at the core of who we are, what we want to be as a department. And it takes work from everyone, all of you, to implement and actively work on shaping our community and implementing these principles. So I strongly urge you to think about it, actively work on it, and act accordingly when we come together as a department. DEI is an important element of what we do. We have a full resource website on the department web page. Lots of activities ongoing and planned, and you can find out more on the website, and I'll say a couple of more words later on. To continue our work on diversity and inclusion and equity in the department, we have the Climate and Diversity Committee that started almost 10 years ago. And the mission is to support and provide a safe and supportive environment for everyone in our department. This is a committee that has been chaired by Rona Ramos, and we will continue it. Over the last couple of years, we have experimented with bringing in shared leadership, making it very broad and engaging everyone. And this year, we will go back to having a committee that welcomes everyone's input, but we will form a committee with representatives from everyone, students, postdoc staff, faculty, so that we have a direction and some leadership to implement certain things we want to do while balancing this with shared leadership in the department. And so there will be more information coming soon. The CDC, the Climate and Diversity Committee, is complementary to also another activity we have in the department, the Aps Idea Network. This is a group of students, faculty, postdocs that have engaged with the national effort, the Aps Idea effort. And Aps Idea organizes meetings where you can learn and educate yourself about issues of diversity, inclusion. And we consider Aps Idea as being a resource to the CDC. Everyone is welcome. There are meetings being organized. If you're interested, reach out to Rona and myself. And this is essentially the national community in which we as a department can act. Last year, we also started a new set of fellowships, the diversity fellowships that were awarded to graduate students who wanted to tackle semester-long projects in related to topics of DEI in the department. Our first diversity fellow was Iris Ponce, and she engaged in a project that celebrated our predominantly female graduate class, incoming graduate class, from 2 years ago. And she wanted to highlight the diversity of this class. She engaged and organized a social media campaign where women members, minority members of this class were documented in laboratory settings. She took photos, talked with them, and posted them on social media. and this got some of the highest social media recognition that the department had. So I was very thankful for Iris for taking on this project. And then our second diversity fellow that was recognized last year, we're still working on a project, is Sana Bhimani. And I don't know if Sana is here. So she
I'm
has been
online.
Oh, okay,
On Zoom.
excellent. So please, do you want to introduce your project and briefly talk about it?
Sure. Yeah, I'm assuming since you responded, everyone can hear me perfectly fine.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Sana Bhimani. I'm a fourth-year grad student working with Professor Lauren Newburgh. As part of my diversity fellowship project, I wanted to create a climate survey, namely a professional global climate survey that would take expertise from social scientist experts rather than building something in-house. Based off of my experience and my collaboration, which is like 300 people, we've found that from our own experiences of building in-house climate surveys, we found it really valuable to have external feedback. Kind of the driving forces for presenting this for a diversity fellowship is that I think a lot of committees and everything are born with the right initiatives and with the right feedback and thinking. But I think a great place to have a ground zero is to deploy a survey, especially since we haven't had one in the last 6 to 8 years. I think that gets you a better understanding of what exactly the department needs, and then you can build from there. Yeah, especially because in the last 2 years, we have seen a significant increase in underrepresented minority students. Probably the next slide is good to go. There's a next one. Yeah. So I'm currently exploring which one's the best option in terms of how to professionally deploy such a climate survey. So that would be 2 proposed avenues, which is through the Chicago Survey Lab from the University of Chicago, or a site visit by the Committee on the Status of Women in Physics and the Committee on Minorities in Physics with APS. Right now, I am leaning a little bit more towards working with the University of Chicago. I have worked on getting quotes from both companies is the wrong word, but both avenues, I guess. So I'm trying to determine source of funding so that we can move forward in developing such a climate survey. And this would be departmental, and it would provide expertise and provide good data quality metrics, as well as keep systems accountable in ways that maybe we don't do a good enough job of. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Great, thanks so much, Sana. So this is a project actively in progress, and if you have ideas for projects you would like to pursue, please contact Rona or myself, and you can make a proposal, and we can find opportunities to support you. So I just wanted to briefly say that we have a number of activities planned for the year. There will be, of course, the Physics Club, events, seminars, and I would just say, come to events, get involved. If you have suggestions, ideas of what you would like to see in the department, please provide us with your suggestions. Again, this community can only be as active and engaged as you are. And we would like to make it as exciting as we can. Next week, we have a special physics club, a prize lecture, the Rosenthal lecture. It will be given by Francesca Felino from University of Innsbruck. Professor Nia Navan will be hosting it. And I hope all of you will come. She's an outstanding speaker. It will be excellent science. And this actually, I wanted to take this opportunity to make a pitch for attending the Physics Club. We're all here to do interesting and exciting science. And the Physics Club is the one weekly event where we all come together and can hear talks that might be outside our niche area, but that are typically at a level, or we aim for them to be at a level that everyone can understand and get something out of it. The Physics Club is really an essential element to keep the intellectual life of the department together. And we want to promote this this year. We want to make it accessible for students, graduates, as well as undergraduates, postdoc scientists, and faculty. You probably saw earlier today, I sent out an email soliciting nominations from postdocs and students to be on the Physics Club committee. We do want to also have their representation on the committee that plans the year. And so I encourage you to self-nominate, nominate your friend, whatever it takes. We want to make the Physics Club exciting for you so that everyone feels like this is an event where we come together. This is particularly important since we are spread over multiple buildings. And so there's one weekly event where we all want to be to hear some excellent science. And in terms of events, I just also wanted to quickly pitch the Physics Welcome Picnic, which is coming up in a little bit over a week. Please RSVP by Thursday. Stacy and the chair's office are planning it. It'll be at the Leitner Observatory. There'll be food, games, and hopefully the weather will be great so we can all be outside and see each other and start the social aspect of this year. And with that, I wanted to now invite the student and group representatives to come down here. We have the slides from the student representatives for the various groups, and they can introduce and describe what they have planned for the year. And I think we will start with the happy hour.
Thanks. All right, well, that font did not carry over to the slides, but that's okay. Hi, everyone, my name is Braden. I'm in charge of organizing happy hour this year, along with my friend, Allie. On the topic of reconnecting and rebuilding community within the department, there's not really a better or easier way than coming to the department happy hours. For those of you who don't know, happy hour happens on the last Friday of every month, and there's free food, free drinks, free snacks, there's music, games, and just overall good times. There's typically around 50 to 70 people that show up, and these are usually postdocs or grad students of all years, but we would love to get more faculty out and join as well. It becomes a really good lively event. It's a great pick of Charles doing the barbecue. If you have any requests or dietary restrictions for the food, just let me or Ali know, or fill out the survey that comes out with the monthly email. Happy hour takes place usually in the courtyard of Science Hill, in the big red star over there when the weather's nice. But when the weather gets colder, we'll be in the third floor lounge of SPL. And this will be updated and confirmed on the email as well. And I hope to see you guys there.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, happy hour. Now, next is SPS.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dawson Thomas. I'm an undergraduate here, and I'm along with Wyatt, who I see in the back. We are the co-presidents of SPS, or Society of Physics Students. So SPS is actually a national organization with broad aims to make its members better physicists. This ranges from networking, opportunities, resources, outreach, all kinds of things. So here's just a little bit of an idea of where SPS is. So our aim is to connect the physics department with the undergraduate community, which, as you can see from these kind of bubbles, yes, includes physics majors, but also physics adjacent majors like math, astro, CS, things like that. Because we sit on so many communities, the physics community at large, the national organization, New Haven as a whole, we have a lot of broad initiatives. So those include cohesiveness as a physics community. We have all kinds of social events, weekly study sessions, doing outreach. This was something that historically happened in the past for us and then kind of fell off. And then 2 years ago, thanks to Shomik and Laura, who you may remember, is now kind of an active scene among Yale SPS. We interact with other SPS chapters, connect our students with the professional community at large, including inviting the prize lecture speakers, the Tinsley and Schultz prize lecture speakers. So you'll hear about that soon. And we also maintain a Sigma Pi Sigma chapter, which is the Physics Honor Society associated with SPS. And A new, relatively speaking, new initiative for us is DEI. And we're coming from the same place that Karsten was talking about as a physics department. Because we sit on so many different communities, we inherit the problems associated with them. So we have now a position on our board who is especially dedicated to DEI issues. We have plans to update our website with resources for underrepresented students, organizing panels, events, and things like that. So just another list of various events we have going on during the year. I think I hit most of these, but last year we introduced SPS Day of Talks, which was a space for undergraduates to give kind of casual, informal talks, and so we could all hear about each other's research. We also have miscellaneous social events, movie nights, game nights, professor dinners, blue booking, which means picking classes together, grad school panels, skills workshops in like Python, C++, things like that. So though we are a primarily undergraduate organization, our goal is to connect the undergraduates with the physics department at large, which is you all. So if you have an event, an idea, something you want us to just get out, please do feel free to reach out. I'll update the slides later with mine and Wyatt's emails. So we're always happy to hear from you. And yeah, just some things special about 2022. I had mentioned the expanded DEI efforts. Also notable is that Sigma Pi Sigma made a constitutional change to become officially not just the Physics Honor Society, but the Physics and Astro Honor Society. So we have plans to include more events to connect us to the astronomy department. But even more than that, we want to interact with also math department, the CS department. We really just want to get a cross-pollination of ideas, events, things like that going. And lastly, Fizcon, which is the National SPS's convention, is happening again this year for the first time since 2019. And we've actually received a chapter award to, where they're paying for 4 of us to go. Here's a picture when Shomik and the other students went during 2019. So it's a great opportunity. We get well connected with other people in the physics community, and yeah, we'll be going to that in October. So yeah, if you want to sign up for our mailing list, which I highly recommend, even if you aren't an undergraduate, just to hear about things that are going on, I've included the link here in the slides. So that's about it. Thank you.
Okay. So in the interest of time, we'll just run through all of these, and obviously if you have questions, would like to talk more, just grab the leaders after yeah, this physics club. So we have now women in physics. Do you want to come up and please speak with the microphone so everyone on Zoom can also hear you?
Hi, everyone. I'm Katerina. I'm one of the co-presidents for Women in Physics. And I guess, given that there are time constraints, I will explain what our organization does a bit more quickly. But essentially, we want to create a comfortable, safe environment for any students, but also women and gender minorities or any minority students to be more comfortable in any physical science, primarily though in physics, applied physics, astronomy, and any other physicsy, as Dawson said, major. So we host a variety of different events. We have events like movie nights, game nights. We also have weekly study halls to help students with their homework and other physics questions they might have. This year, we're putting a particular big emphasis in collaborating with other organizations. So we think that there are so many talented people leading so many initiatives in undergraduate clubs, but also graduate organizations. And we really want to collaborate with all of those people to leverage all the resources. So we have events like Python workshops coming up, CAD design. We also will go to Fizcon. We have 4 students that will be attending. And then we also have a very big effort of attending the QWIP, which is the Conference for Undergraduate Women in Physics. And actually, we're very proud because a lot of our members that have done research will be supported to also present their research at the conference, which we think will really help them develop the skills necessary to be a scientist, which is one of our biggest goals as a club. to provide an environment that will help them flourish. So that's a bit of what we do. We also host events like we have a semester brunch and a semester barbecue at a professor's house, and we're very grateful for those. Yeah. So we want to reiterate one thing. Our name is Women in Physics, and that's because there was a lot of bureaucratic things related to changing it, but we're open to membership for any student with any interest, and we are welcoming anyone that is willing to be part of our community and contribute their ideas and their feedback. And yeah, we're really excited to see you all at our events. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, any feedbacks, any ideas, or any things that you would like to work with us on bringing to the campus and to the department. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you so much. So we will go on to the Women in Physics Plus.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sierra Wild. I'm one of the co-chairs of WIP Plus, and then this is Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Gish, and I'm the other co-chair of Women in Physics Plus.
Yeah, so basically, we're just like the graduate, student, and postdoc version of Women in Physics. So trying to foster a more welcoming and inclusive environment for underrepresented genders in both the physics and applied physics and astronomy departments. So what we've been doing in the past is hosting various like recurring events for WIP Plus members. So we do some like more informal like monthly bagel chats, and then some more like seasonal events like going apple picking or brunches or like ice skating. And then we'll also do certain events where we invite allies to come along. So there's certain ally lunches where basically we just gather and discuss a certain DEI topic to try to like, broaden our community and basically like get a better environment in the department. And then some specific events that we have. So last year we hosted the Alumni Speaker Series. So we invited, I think around on a monthly basis, we invited past WIP Plus members and basically just had them talk about their life and their career after they graduated Yale and see like where they've gone from there. And so we are planning on continuing to do that, but just having like one speaker per year. And then also in collaboration with Quark, do a gender diversity training and mixer, and that will be open to anyone who's interested in participating. And then also trying to organize some sort of community event where we'll like try to come up with some sort of plan and actionable items to make the department better for underrepresented genders, specifically like in the graduate program itself. So if you're interested in getting involved, so like either joining the WIP Plus mailing list, or we also have an ally mailing list, you can just scan this QR code. So yeah, Caitlin created like a link tree that should have like all the info that you need for getting started, or you can email one of us and ask any questions that you might need. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah and Caitlin. So we now hear about Quark.
Hello. Yes. So this is just the like queer and queer adjacent community at Yale. Anybody who would benefit from this space. We just have a couple of events. And so if you would benefit from that sort of community, please join us. We definitely want to be here for you. We've actually grown quite a bit since we started. So we began in February 2020, and originally we had like 6 people with 2 leadership positions. Now this year, before any of you join, which please do, we have 34 people. We have 8 people working together on various events. We also have physics, applied physics and astronomy. And this year we also opened up to the first time to math students. What we've been doing is so far we've had bagel brunches over the pandemic. We did lunch, and in this past summer, we actually finally got to do some in-person events such as hikes, lunches. We did a movie night. And then this year, we actually got to get together. We had a welcome lunch and we had a tie-dyeing event all this past week. Those were really fun. And then this coming semester, we're going to continue on with the bagel brunches, and that's going to be in person again. Really excited about that. We're planning on doing a trivia night. We're planning on doing an end of semester lunch. And then next semester, we're going to start off with, we're going to buy seeds and dirt and get some, make some plants. And then we're going to do a cheese tasting night. And then of course, we're going to end with the lunch. Sorry about messing up the slides. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Shamita. So these are student groups. Next, we have GSAC, which is the Graduate Student Advisory Committee. And this was started a few years ago, 3 years ago, to advise me as chair and our graduate program team and the department in general about issues that are of concern to graduate students. So we've been meeting essentially monthly, worked together over the last couple of years. A lot of good things have happened. And I've also asked them to briefly talk about their priorities for the year. And I think Samantha will do that.
Hi, hello. I'm Samantha Pagan. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a fourth year and I've been on GSAC for a couple of years now. And so this year, what we really want to focus on is pursuing progress with the department DEI action plan. A couple of years back, GSAC was very involved in that writing process. And as we have monthly meetings, we always try and check in on where are we with that action plan. We also want to better collaborate postdoc and graduate student collaboration. So there's also a postdoc version of an advisory committee now that we're hoping to work more with this year. And then also just recognizing that these are like a transition time and we're not quite past the pandemic. GSAC wants to continue to be there, especially through the pandemic. It was really helpful to hear from everyone about your experiences navigating this. So please continue to talk to any of us, share any problems you might have. We can always bring those up even in an anonymous manner in our monthly meetings with both Karsten, the department chair, DGS, and Rona, the graduate program coordinator. Yeah, and I guess we also wanted to highlight just some of our previous involvement so you know what we've done. I mentioned the DEI action plan. We've also in the past developed a starting document for a physics specific advising guidelines, which I also just wanted to give those a plug because I think they're very helpful and something you can take a look at no matter what stage you're at in graduate school. And we were also involved with giving feedback to the program team when the qualifying exam was being relooked at in course requirements.
Thank you, Samantha. Yeah, so first I wanted to thank GSAC. Their input really has been invaluable over the last few years, and I appreciate all the time they've put into actually meeting with us. And I'm very happy that we also now have a postdoc advisory committee, and they have started their work very active. And I wanted to thank Meg Urey for working as our director of postdoctoral affairs and working with the committee to get the first programming underway. So.
All right, yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Havner. I'm an associate research scientist in the relative physics heavy ion group.
Hi, everyone. I'm Isabella Graf. I work in theoretical biophysics and I'm a postdoc.
Right. Yeah. So as Karsten said, we have recently started a postdoc advisory committee in a similar vein as the graduate advisory committee. We actually modeled off of their committee after all the success that they've had over the past few years. Yeah. So first, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank both Karsten and Meg for the idea to start this, and also for their support as we've gotten this off the ground. Yeah. So what we are is we serve as a point of communication between what is the hello.
Like this.
Okay. Apparently never used one of these before. Okay. Yeah. So what we do is we're here to serve as a point of communication between the postdocs and the associate research scientists and the administrators of the department. So what that means is we'll advise the chair and the faculty on any issues related to postdocs and research scientists. Will also serve as advocates for the postdocs and the scientists within the department. And we also plan to organize various events for postdocs. This includes social events and also professional development events. Yeah. So currently we have 3 members. It's Isabella, myself, and Yogesh Patil, who I think is online and couldn't make it today. But yeah, and so now I'll turn it over to Isabella, who's going to talk about some of the events we have planned this semester.
Okay. Yes, so basically, since it's new, what we started out with is just having a survey for all the postdocs and associate research scientists, kind of gauging what the most important needs are. And I think there were like 2 main topics. One was professional development, and the other one was just like social things. And so what we have started to organize is kind of a professional development lunch series. So at the moment we are focusing on kind of academic job applications. And so the idea is kind of to have like 5 events scattered throughout the year, which are kind of synchronized with the application cycle, and to kind of cover all the important topics. And like the first one we had actually last Friday, which was about just preparing the material for job applications. And this was together with Meg and Karsten and Ben Magda. The next one is actually planned for November 7th. This will not be a lunch meeting because it will be at 9 a.m. in the morning, so there will be breakfast instead. And then the idea is to have like a few more about generally navigating postdoc life, or also starting a research group and things like this. And then kind of also going away from the academic focus, we're planning to work together with YPPDO and also with the graduate student advisory committee to also have like non-academic outreach or like professional development events. And then we have a few ideas for social events, so that there's supposed to be a roughly monthly coffee hour. The next one will be early October. And then each semester we are planning to have like a happy hour for postdocs, which is also probably going to happen sometime in October. And then let's see if we can make this work. But the idea would be to have like a retreat for postdocs and associated research scientists next spring. I guess, yeah, let's see, but hopefully this will work out. And I mean, all of this would not be possible without the help from Daphne, who really supported us all the way and is kind of mainly organizing all the events. So a huge shout out to her. And yes, if you're open to suggestions or ideas, since it's all new, just write us an email or contact us any other way. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for organizing this. So we'll now go on to a couple of groups that are organizing topical activities, and one is the Kimbo Smith series, and I believe Talia is online and she wanted to speak to that.
Yes, I'm online. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So yes, I'll be talking about the Kimbo Smith series. This is an event series that is funded by the physics department, which focuses on issues at the intersection of technology, ethics, and global affairs. So for example, last year's events focused on nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. And I think I so appreciate that the physics department is funding this program because there's such a rich history of physicists both creating technologies that had a huge impact on global affairs, both good and bad, and then working to learn about and take responsibility for what they had created. One of the most notable cases of that is the development of nuclear weapons. And so this is a chance for us to continue to be well informed, including by taking advantage of the great range of expertise at Yale outside of the physics department, especially in political science and public policy related programs. So in order to really take advantage of that, each event that we have at the Kimball Smith series has a speaker panel with experts in scientific and political aspects of the program topic. So for example, when we had a program in artificial intelligence, we had 3 speakers, one who focused on the sort of science of machine learning, one who focused on practical ethical questions at Google's DeepMind, and one focused on international global governance of artificial intelligence. And so we really kind of weave together their expertise. And then after the panel, our events have multidisciplinary small group discussions among attendees. And again, this is really a chance to connect across disciplines and also just for people to engage with these questions themselves. We sometimes co-sponsor events that don't exactly have this format, like we did one with the Jackson Institute's Schmidt program last year. But that is generally our format is that speaker panel and then discussions. Like our program speakers and attendees, our partners span disciplines. The physics department, of course, and Wright Laboratory has provided a lot of support. And then we also have partnered with the political science department, international security studies at Jackson, and the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, who we collaborated with on a virtual event. That's a publication originally created by physicists that focuses on nuclear weapons, climate change, and emerging technologies. I have one more slide, if you could go to the next slide. So thank you. So we are considering a number of topics for upcoming programs and talking with potential speakers to set dates. These topics include climate change and international negotiations, outer space and global security, and genetic engineering, both ethical and security implications. So to hear about those sorts of events, you can go to our website, kimballsmithseries.yale.edu, and sign up for the mailing list there. We do also include the events in the physics department newsletters, but to hear about them a little more in advance, you can mark your calendars. It's really great to join our mailing list. And you can also follow the Kimball Smith series on Instagram, which is an educational page in addition to telling you about our events, because we post about important moments in the history of science, technology, and international affairs. So I'm organizing the series along with Li Hao Yan. So I'm a third-year graduate student in physics. Li Hao is a second-year graduate student, and we're also working with some political science students. So you can reach out to either me or Li Hao with questions or suggestions regarding the event, or even if you know of a good speaker or you yourself might be interested in speaking at a program, please let us know. And I just have one more sort of fun fact about our program here on the right. We're named after Alice Kimball Smith, who got her PhD at Yale in 1936. And she was a historian of the scientists' movement to really take responsibility for their development of nuclear weapons and focus on non-proliferation and to some extent disarmament. So that is what I have. I believe that Li Hao also wanted to say a few words. He recently joined the Kimball Smith team organizing these programs, and I think he wanted to say something about why he got involved with us.
Yes, I just want to share my personal reasons for interest in this series. So in writing papers, we always start with how impactful our research is, and physics research are very impactful to the society. So I've been thinking about how we can make impact to the society out of the physics area. And I think the Kimball Smith series really provide one such opportunity. For the one workshop I attend I attended on nuclear weapon. There are people from political science department. There are veterans. There are people working in the government, and we really had very insightful discussions. So I encourage every one of you to come to the series and to sign up the mailing list.
Great. Thank you so much, Lihao and Talia. So we have two more groups that we will run through quickly. One is History and Foundations of Physics Reading Group, new this year. And
Hi, I'm Yaron. I'm a graduate student here in the physics department. And in the course of doing science, there are a lot of questions that come up that are not strictly scientific or are meta-scientific. So some of those are epistemological, like when do we say we know something and how do we know something? Some of them are cultural. What's the feedback between science and society and the progress of science, which of course relates to historical questions, which is how does science progress or does science progress? What does that mean for it to progress? Which of course relates to philosophical questions like, is there an end to science? And how do our models map on to reality, or is that the goal? And that's of course very notable in quantum mechanics, how to understand quantum mechanics. So there's a lot of people here who are interested in that. And so we started a History and Foundations of Physics reading group new this year. It's really exciting. Theopolis is making an awesome logo. And the plan is to have 4 meetings each semester, once a month. Our first one is planned for a couple of weeks from now. That'll be on the next slide. For me, the real pitch is that it's an interdisciplinary group. We have people who are interested in the physics department, astronomy department, in the history department, in the philosophy department. We have undergrads, graduate students, postdocs, faculty. And our first meeting is planned for a dinner, and depending on the time of the day, it'll either be dinner or refreshments. And all of the discussions will particularly be with an eye toward what bearing it has on us as scientists. So again, the first meeting is in 2 weeks. We'll be talking about scientific progress more broadly. We'll be looking at Karl Popper and Thomas Kuhn. It's kind of very appropriate for our first meeting. This is outdated, but it's going to be on Wednesday, September 28th at around 5:30, location to be announced. And Molly Watts' name should be on there too. If you are interested in more information, or you want to join our mailing list, please get in touch with either me or her. And some other topics that we're hoping to cover this semester are quantum mechanics, so like both the measurement problem and also the development of the history of the development of the mathematics of quantum mechanics. And the idea is for people in the group to suggest readings that they're interested in, that they'd like to present and lead discussions on. Anything else I want to make sure I say? We have a website. You'll be able to find readings there, and we'll also be sending them out in the mailing list. Thanks.
thank you so much, Yaron and Molly, for organizing it. I also wanted to just acknowledge the support from the Frankie program for this new series. And before we come to the end, I wanted to give the forum to our instructional lab and outreach group. They were very active before the pandemic in organizing big events like the Physics Olympics, which we hope to restart sometime this year. And so I've asked Stephen to briefly summarize his plans and opportunities for people to get involved.
Okay, I'm Stephen Irons, Instructional Lab Director. If you haven't been here, if you're here recently. This is about our group, Caitlin Hansen, who's just joined us, and Paul Noel, who joined us in 2015. I'm just going to talk about a few of the things that are we're working on this year, and hopefully that to work on as the year progresses. This is an experiment we're currently working on to bring into the Physics 206 lab. It's a chaotic pendulum, mechanical chaotic pendulum apparatus. It's essentially a driven pendulum, but with a stop that creates a chaotic feedback. And there's a picture of it in real life and a diagram. And then we have some preliminary data. This is being worked on by Adrian Gozar, who has been really active with it lately. And we're pretty excited to work out the bugs and then get it in to our Physics 206 lab soon. as far as demonstrations and outreach go, we are always building and providing physics demonstrations for the new grad students or new faculty here. We have a huge suite of demonstrations we can provide for you for any purpose, for your class, for outreach. I've been to my kids' schools when they were little. You can do the same, or you can take them. If you have your own program, you want to go to local schools, we can provide you with demonstrations and advice as needed. We'd also like to, for a long time, I've wanted to have a public lecture series, like a public demonstration show. And I'd like to actually couple that with a public lecture by a faculty member, either on their current research, perhaps the Nobel Prize or something in the news. And we could use the Marsh Lecture Hall, which has got a public entrance. And I think it's a really nice venue to promote the physics department and show that we're part of the community. So if you're interested in being part of either the lecture demo show part, or perhaps you have a talk you'd like to give, we'd love to partner with you on that. And then we continue to support girls' science investigations, hopefully this year as an in-person event. And then we are planning on relaunching the Yale Physics Olympics. Normally it runs in October. When it finally sort of occurred to me that it would be possible to run it this year, I didn't have enough time to really pull it off for October, which is when we normally run it. But that has a happy, it's a happy coincidence, because a lot of the feedback we got from teachers is that they've just started physics in high school. This is for high school physics students. They haven't actually learned a lot of physics yet. So even though we stress that it doesn't really matter, we're going to experiment with the Spring Physics Olympics, find a date in the spring when the weather's nice, and run it in the spring. So if you're interested in the Physics Olympics, perhaps rethinking how we do it, I think this is also an opportunity to maybe rethink how the overall structure, which has been pretty much the same since we started. So if you're interested in working with us on that, we'd love to have you do that. Lastly, my colleague Paul Noel has last year started a physics makers sort of craft and social gathering. We've had 3, I think, events so far. We did a print making, we did a holiday parole making. I wanted to come up with a word that everybody knew, but essentially it's a traditional Indonesian, Filipino holiday decoration. So we made those. And then most recently we did cake decorating with Caitlin Hansen. And we have coming up soon a pottery activity, a craft. We actually found a kiln here in the physics department that was left by some researcher who needed it for something, but now we have it. And this is Paul's like first attempt at a cup, which I think it's pretty nice. Anyway, so that's going to be coming up sometime. And then the other thing that Paul started is a Yale Physics Challenge, which is essentially a cryptographic puzzle, which have gotten progressively fiendish over time. This one, I think, is still unsolved completely. It's been partially solved. We have actually a prize. It's a Soma Cube, which is essentially a 3x3x3 cube made up of a unique, sort of like Tetris in 3 dimensions, and you have to put it together to make a cube. And if you solve the puzzle, you get the cube. So we've had we've had 2 puzzles that have been solved already, but this one remains unsolved. And I guess that's it. So thank you for your attention, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Great, thank you, Stephen, Paul, and Caitlin for doing all of this. So you see, there's no shortage of things to get involved in this year. There's a large number of activities. Just to wrap it up, I just wanted to leave you with this. Engage in the department community, make it your physics family, and I hope you're going to have fun with science this year. So I hope to see you at the Physics Club next week for the Rosenthal lecture. Thanks, everyone, and have a good week.